This is my 3,000 points army list of Iron Warriors Armoured Breakthrough. Included in the list is 3 10-man tactical squads. Each has a Nuncio Vox. 2 of the sergeants are equipped with bolt pistol and power fist. 1 just has a bolt gun. They are mounted in rhinos, which have dozer blades, extra armour and pinot mounted heavy bolters. The next 3 troops choices are 3 Predators. They each have sponson heavy bolters, dozer blades, extra armour and power the machine spirits. I have 2 Land Raiders, with each having 5 Terminators in, 4 armed with chain fists, 1 armed with a thunder hammer, 1 Reaper autocannon, 3 combi bolters and a Volkite charger. They are mounted in Land Raiders, which have their standard fits apart from the addition of dozer blades and extra armour. I have my Whirlwind Scorpius, which has the addition of extra armour and a combi grenade launcher. My Vindicator Siege Tank, which has combi bolter, extra armour, dozer blades and power of the machine spirit. My Democles Command Rhino, which is completely stock standard. A Land Raider Proteus with a triple las cannon and extra armour, and 3 Javelins which are equipped identically with multi-melters, hunter killer missiles and cyclone missile launchers. My HQ choice is the Sikaran Command Tank. He's my army commander, so the tank is classified as being ballistic skill 5. He is equipped with the accelerator autocannon, sponson heavy bolters, pinot heavy bolter, the only model in the army to have armoured ceramite, dozer blade and extra armour.
Hello, welcome back to Sector Wargaming. I'm Ed.
And I'm Derek.
And today we are going to fulfil what we said at the
beginning of the year, where we said we were going to do some sort of 3,000 point army list kind of rundowns and just go into the reasons why.
Yeah, nice, quick, snappy, but actual look at some of the lists and why we've done them.
Yeah.
And we're starting today with Derek's Armoured Breakthrough list. So, first of all, what's the theme and your inspiration behind the list?
So my inspiration behind this is primarily an armoured infantry sort of feel for it. The main bulk of the force, or the driving element of the force, has always been the sort of 3 10-man tac squads with their rhinos and a Predator armoured vehicle with them as basically fire support. And that was the premise for the entire thing, because I've always loved the idea of armoured infantry advancing and then, you know, a light battle tank supporting them with fire because they're not carrying heavy weapons themselves.
Makes absolute sense. You had a bit of a thought when you were programming in your own noggin the list. We talked about it being a sort of a convoy for the Tormentor, didn't we?
So one of the original lists that I actually came up with at the 3,000 point markers, this was going to be the convoy for the Tormentor. Before Perturabo is receiving delivery of the Tormentor.
Shifting to his location.
Bring me my car! So the idea was that I would have infantry units that could be out on the flanks pushing around, light tanks, the Predators being manoeuvrable to provide fire support, and then I've got Javelins which would act as the forerunners and kind of outrunners to the scout vehicles, Whirlwind Scorpius for that little bit of fire support should it be needed, the Vindicator to clear the way because nothing's getting in the way of this. And I love the idea of the Democles Command Rhino literally being there for command and control. And more importantly, it's radio jamming so that enemy forces couldn't actually detect the arrival of a significantly large, super heavy tank.
Although it reminds me of like the American battle cruiser battle groups.
Yeah.
So if you haven't seen it, Google the American aircraft carrier and just look at the picture of all their ships just shrinking in size. Just this, like you've got the aircraft carrier, which is the absolute demon, horrible thing.
Monster.
But just to shift that, you need all this ancillary support.
Yeah.
It's such a cool idea that this is moving forward.
Yeah.
So, what would you say is your favourite model in your list?
So my favourite model in this list is the Sikaran Command Tank. I've always been a big fan of Sikaran. It is one of the, you know, you say Heresy, you think of a handful of things, Sikaran is on that list. It is a Heresy vehicle. And I do love the vehicle, but for me, being a heavy support choice and an Iron Warrior player, it's actually quite difficult to justify putting. I'll have a Sikaran
You can't squadron them. Yeah, it's in a very contested slot.
Yeah,
you can't squadron
absolutely.
a standard Sikaran.
Not yet.
Not yet. Please let us.
That'd be so bad.
Because they're cool. Yeah, it's hard. So putting it as your HQ makes it
Exactly, and the nice thing there with making it the HQ choice is you get the super heavy commander trait, which means all infantry units within 24 inches get to re-roll for leadership tests.
Nice.
Which is not too shabby.
Very Iron Warrior.
But for me, it is the pure and simple fact that I gained ballistic skill 5. It's got sponson heavy bolter, it's got a hull heavy bolter, I've got a pintle heavy bolter, and because of the army list being armoured breakthrough, all vehicles with 3 or less hull points actually have the fast rule. So it's basically moving and then just firing an absolute ton. I mean, heavy bolters alone, you're looking at 12 shots at BS2, BS5 hitting on
the Sickran's already fast,
yes.
But your Predators become fast.
Yes.
So you're flinging out all these heavy bolter, and then you send Power the Machine Spirit
yes.
on them all. So it's moving 12,
yep.
firing the main cannon
yep.
and the heavy
at full ballistic skill.
And your Iron Warriors gain special ammo, don't they?
Yes, so all Iron Warriors heavy bolters can take shrapnel rounds, which reduces the AP by 1, so it becomes AP5, not AP4.
Who cares?
But they all gain pinning. And when you're throwing this amount of shots out, it's worth it.
Yeah, people say pinning doesn't work, but pinning doesn't work until you really don't want it to,
yeah.
and then it stops something in your trap. Had it happen to me so many times, like, oh, it's barrage, take a pinning check, and you go, nah, it'd be fine. Ah, crap. And you're making people do it every shooting phase
yeah.
with. Is it everything just gets it for free?
Yeah, it's free.
So
it's free. Anything with a heavy bolter gains it for free.
Excellent. That just makes it a little. Armour Breakthrough suffers from that. It's not really Legion specific, but you get to throw that little nubbin in it that makes it absolutely beautiful.
It's just one of those things where it's the little aspects that I've always really enjoyed about these lists. It completely breaks from the stereotypical norm of the Iron Fire list.
That's right.
Bring me my artillery!
Yeah.
Or the Siege Tyrant list. Sorry, it's the Hammer of Olympia, but who doesn't take Siege Tyrants?
Yeah.
An extra heavy support choice, Siege Tyrants!
So that was another inspiration behind this list, wasn't it? Just breaking that mould.
Yeah, absolutely, just breaking the norm.
Have you something a bit more different to keep your enjoyment going? Because I know I'm suffering a bit from Chagorian Brotherhood drag at the moment, things like that. So just having different stuff to play with.
It is one of the things that always amuses me in the games that I have played with this. People underestimate the firing capability of a 10-man tactical squad.
Yeah, I mean I do all the time.
They really do.
I write lists and I go, I don't want a tactical squad, and then every time I come up against them, oh, it's only a tactical squad. I mean, Shit Fury!
Well, it was that game we played with.
Oh God, no!
The Iron Warriors versus the White Scars.
That's been moved.
What were the Golden Cushing, was it?
So
Golden Cushing declared the charge, get rinsed, failed the charge, and then the Iron Warriors turn around and go, well, that's cute, have you heard of this? It's called Fury of the Legion!
No. My elite did not die to fucking Iron Warrior trash.
They totally died.
Awesome. Okay, so you mentioned it a little bit before, but you have played games with this.
Yes.
Did it work how you thought?
It worked better than I actually thought it was,
Oh, nice.
because I was strongly expecting to take this list and just get rinsed. And I took it to Company Legends,
Yes.
where I had a great time with the guys down there. And it was one of these things where I don't think I even did bad. I think I won most of my games. I lost maybe.
You lose to the Iron Hands player.
I lost to the Iron Hands because it's one of those things where.
Draw because of mission.
Yeah, but the Iron Hands one was actually quite funny because obviously they're all effectively toughness 5 minus 1 strength. So my bolters basically become useless. My heavy bolters become bolters, and it's kind of, oh, where's my firepower going? They should be dead by now. I've been shooting bolters at them. Why aren't they dead?
Why did you die?
And I think the cheekiest one out of that entire thing had to be the unit of quad mortars, because they're Iron Hands, minus 1 strength, which means bolters can't hurt them.
Standard bolters can't hurt them.
You just can't even scratch them, so even hitting them with heavy bolters, I'm at
6
to wound.
Yeah.
So, what?
Full armor saves.
I don't like this.
Tricky. So what tactics did you primarily, like, is there a way you use the army, or
So
what was great about it that performed really well?
The bit that I really liked about it is I was very easy with the speed of the Predator tanks to get them into firing positions where they could basically move into a fire position and just lay down fire.
Isn't it?
Because moving that 12 inches and then being able to fire everything at one target, or even throwing a heavy bolter or even the auto cannon at a separate target, it makes a huge difference. Because one game I slung it around the side, the heavy bolters engaged one thing and the turret engaged something else, and it took out 2 targets.
Nice.
And that flexibility was fantastic. Being able to move my rhinos faster than you normally would, because obviously I'm like, yeah, I'll just move 12 inches. I'm a fast vehicle. I'm now basically in your deployment zone. I haven't got out the vehicle yet.
Yeah.
But I'm ready to get
turn
out.
one, you're going 18 inches, aren't you?
Yeah, because that brum. Next turn, get out, and then you've got
even further than 18, because he could flat out 12 with
if
a
I
fast
wanted to,
vehicle.
yeah.
Yeah, so it's 24.
So literally bombing them up, and then people go, well, I need to deal with these.
Yeah.
But then you've got the Scorpions to deal with, and that's a major threat in any list it's ever in. It's a fairly heavy armor tank. I want more.
No, I hate that thing.
You've got the Vindicator again, power of the machine spirit, move 12 inches, bang, demolish a shell to your face.
No one wants to hit that.
And then obviously you've got the kind of more credible threat, and then as people realise, well, I've dealt with the infantry, I've dealt with this. Well, what are you going to do about these 2 Land Raiders filled with Terminators?
There's a lot of threats, and they are coming into your face, and you have to do them. And for me, I'd say the amount of scoring units you have really. Absolutely. I know I've struggled in the past with list writing, because I'm always like, I want the really good, hard-hitting elite stuff, and then I go, I've only got 3 troops choices and scoring units. That's bad. You have how many? So
in this list, in a standard game, missions not permitting, this list has 8 scoring units. So I've got the 3 tac squads, the rhinos don't count unless the troops are in them. And then you've got the Predators, which are troops choices for this right of war. And then I've got the 2 units of 5 Terminators on top of that.
And then in that mission where it says tanks count, you've got...
So yeah, tanks count. I suddenly go from having 8 to 13, and it's kind of, I'll deal with that.
Exactly. You have to hit everything before 18. So you said the list performed really well. What would you say are the weaknesses in this list?
So the weakness of this list, as much as we discussed that the Sycorahn's got, obviously, the accelerator order cannon, and I've got a lot of twinning las cannons, it's anti-air. I don't have a dedicated anti-air as in a Derrideo or even a stock standard Whirlwind with its Skyfire missiles.
Yeah.
I don't have any of
Arcus,
that. No
Arcus.
Interceptor
or Skyfire,
none of that.
Anything.
None of that. Primarily because I wanted everything in vehicles, which is one of the prerequisites for taking the armor list. Okay. Every infantry unit must be in a vehicle. But nothing really fit. There's no anti-aircraft, there's no dedicated anti-aircraft tank. The Sycoran can do a hell of a job.
Because there's no jinking against it.
Because there's no jinking against it.
Main.
And it's 7 shots, 6 shots?
It's 6 shots, strength 7, twin linked. No jink against it. And obviously, you're hitting on 6s between no jink.
So, yeah, absolutely brutal. But, no.
Okay. Another weakness I know you've mentioned to me in the past is obviously your commander can be taken out fairly surgically. He can be one-shotted. But at the end of the day... There's no lookouts, iron haloing. No. Like, he's just an armor 13, 12, 12 tank. Exactly, which can easily be taken out by a lucky shot. And that's all it takes. However, amusingly enough, me and Ted were discussing this the other day, there is actually a way around it. The army list does stipulate... I disagree with this. The army list stipulates that you can take the tank commander as your HQ choice. It doesn't say that he must be the Warlord. Yep. So what you actually do is you drop the Democles Commander Rhino, for example, and then you spend that 100 points on a Delegatus, and you hide him in a bunker. Yeah. And then you've got to get through a Land Raider to kill my commander, which is significantly harder to do because it's an armor 14 box all round. Yep. So you're protecting that Warlord. So I'm protecting the Warlord, but on one hand, get a trait. Yeah. So then you go strategic. Roll on strategic. Roll on strategic. Suddenly you're ignoring night fight, or you've got shrouded in ruins or something ridiculous. It would clean up the mess. But for me, I actually quite like doing that aspect because one of the ideas I did actually have, if I was going to go that way and still keep the thematic element of this, is make him a Herald of the Warmaster. Yeah. So he's my HQ choice. He's my high value target. I need to get him from point A to point B. This entire convoy is for one man. Which makes sense. Like, he's an important man. Like, this is a legion of hundreds of thousands. Like, they are going to have a fucking escort, aren't they? Yeah. And what an escort. Okay, pretty much last question. Yep. What would you say is the hard counter, or what would you hate to face? So in this list, I would hate to face probably a horde-orientated demon army. Yeah. Mostly because the lesser demons, once they're tooled up, strength 5, toughness 5, 2 wounds apiece,
rending,
starting right next to you.
starting right next to me.
They also, because there's so many models normally, they'd stop you from driving through
Yeah.
them.
And then, you know, it's one of those things
Shut
that
down the mobility you have.
once they get into me, and obviously in a couple of good hits, you're hitting the rear armour. If you get them immobilised, you're hitting the back ends. You hit the vehicles on the back ends anyway in combat.
So you're hitting them automatically if they're immobilised.
So,
I mean,
you know,
demons are pretty much everyone's hard counter, to be fair.
yeah, but you know, you get your demon at strength 5, charges your vehicle. He's got rending, and he's got 3 attacks basic.
2 basic, 3 on the charge.
So 3 attacks on the basic,
And
hitting
then
the
you
rear
get
armour on
rage
3s.
with rending.
It's just nasty.
Yeah.
And then that's before you even start getting onto the bigger brutes and stuff with their additional strength and weapons and the monsters and
flyers,
lance attacks and other nasty things. But I think that would probably be the nightmare list for me to take.
So demons, you think would be pretty much the terror.
Yeah.
What list? You say you took it to an event. I mean,
Yeah.
You say you took it to an event. I was there as well. I know.
You
So
go there.
I'm talking like I wasn't there.
Totally there.
You've mentioned that Iron Hands
Yeah.
list.
So the Iron Hands list.
What other list do you think did it surprise you up against?
Against the Sekhmet, it was a Loyalist Thousand Sons player, and he was running a shed ton of Sekhmet. I think there was 15 or 20 of them in there. They were kind of like, ooh. And it was one of the things where at one point in the game, quite early on, after we deep struck them in, I managed to get 3 Predators and my Sycoran just laying down heavy bolter fire, and of the 2 units of 5 and the Praetor, only the Praetor and like 2 Terminators were left after all of that firepower. And it was one of the things, Sekhmet are hard as nails. They've got the reroll on their saving throws when they show up, and then obviously they've all got 2 wounds a pop. So actually, just that sheer volume of shots and stripping all that down and going, oh my.
Yeah, it's weight of firepower, isn't it?
Oh,
And you've
absolutely.
got heavy bolters for days.
Yeah.
So yeah, you get your full armor save, but yeah, roll 9 dice and try not to get a couple of ones
And that's
every
just-
single time. Everything
that's
fires.
just one
Yeah,
take.
exactly. Every time something fires. Awesome. Right. So that's it, pretty much, isn't it? Thank you very much, Dee.
Thank you very much, Ted.
Right. I hope you all enjoyed that. We're going to do a couple more or
Yeah.
a few more of these. If there's any sort of other questions or interesting things you would like to know, I mean, you can ask Derek straight down in the comments,
Yeah.
or add in the comment what questions we'd like to ask.
Yeah.
And yeah, we're going to look at a few more different lists. I like looking closer in, not just the full forces, into the.
I've
into
always
the
been a big fan of the deep dives because everyone's got a reason for doing that army. Whether you've gone meta and you've gone, this is my win at all cost list, or whether you've gone, I have gone completely fluffy. I'm probably not going to win, but I don't care.
Oh yeah.
And you know, 30k, 40k, any of the tabletop war games, play it how you want to play it.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. If you are having fun, good on you.
Yeah. Competitive lists in 30k are absolutely fine.
I've seen some amazing competitive lists. I don't want to fight the competitive
No.
list. I'm not ready to fight competitive lists.
I went to the Warhammer World event, and the guy who won it, his list was absolutely terrifying. I'm very glad that I didn't have to go up and fight it, but it was cool.
That's just
I'm
it. I mean,
totally fine. I knew it was a competitive event. It was absolutely fine. So yeah, we are going to bring on. We're going to talk about. You don't own it, but you think a list that is pretty unbeatable.
well, I don't know about unbeatable. I think it would look cool as fuck. But that's a story for another time.
So we're going to do that sort of thing. It's not just going to be full fluff.
Yeah.
But let us know what you think. Thank you very much for watching, and hope you enjoyed this bonus content.
Catch you next time.